When the investigation starts today, a lot of time is going to be spent on whether something is intentional or reckless, and whether, well, I think the two phrases are going to be all guidance and all times. And this is going to hinge on advice which was given by Jack Doyle to Boris during the Partygate issue, during it and when the scandal became clear. When is a party not a party? So Johnson says that he used the term party because everybody else was using the term party. So this isn't about big dog, this is about big sheep, herded by the crowd. Whatever the crowd says, Johnson repeats. It's not a tribute to his intelligence, is it? And so it was not a party when somebody was leaving 10 Downing Street, despite what was said at the time. It was not a party in his flat when ABBA music was played at a huge volume to celebrate the departure of his special advisor, the ABBA cacophony. Johnson has said that he used the term party, simply because other people were using it. It was not a party as such. One of the advisors said, I'm struggling to come up with a way that this one is in the rules. The evidence shows that I did not knowingly or recklessly break those rules, mislead Parliament. That's what Boris says. He would never have dreamt of intentionally or recklessly misleading MPs. The language is really interesting in the dossier that he's presented, because what he's trying to do is to link the term recklessly with intentional. Now, the MPs have said, the committee has said, that it's not interested in his intention. It's interested in this issue of recklessly misleading Parliament. And I think the term intention is going to come up again and again, because that is Boris's only way out, to convince the committee that he didn't intend to do anything bad. As for reckless, I think it's impossible for Boris to defend himself against recklessly misleading Parliament, because he is reckless, he is thoughtless. If you go back again to the Jack Doyle advice, all guidance at all times. Don't use the term all times. Boris did, because Boris, when it comes down to it, is thoughtless. Boris is full of impulse, and he doesn't really take advice. That's the impression we get from looking at the dossiers, that Boris is his own person. Big dog. But he's very happy to seize on a word. He's very happy to play with words. Words mean very little for Boris. Words mean what he wants them to mean. And he's spent most of his life on that principle. He could argue either case. He did famously when he decided finally to opt for Brexit rather than for Remain. He wrote 2 convincing articles, and he chose the Brexit one. Boris isn't really a politician who is focused on the truth or on conviction. He's a politician who is focused on how best he can present himself, what words he can twist and use for himself, what will achieve a success for himself. I don't think Boris is really bothered about the wider picture. I think he is interested in looking after the country for himself. I think the word narcissism is being used rather liberally, and I think sometimes people want to impose a very psychological understanding of the word narcissist. I think Boris's understanding of that word goes back to the myth Boris is someone who gazes at his own reflection and measures his success by the way in which that reflection, that image, is scattered around the newspapers, around the media. I think Boris is fundamentally a performer. And there's nothing wrong with being a performer. It's just whether or not we want a performer to be leading our country.